of a great coalition of teachers, parents, advocates to make sure that CPS is doing what they should for our special education students. There was an inquiry panel by the State Board of Education, and we're here to hopefully make sure that they enforce special education rights for students and that they provide remedies for all the wrongs that CPS has done. I'm here to introduce my colleague Matt Cohen, and he'll talk about the remedies that we hope that the State Board of Education enforces. Alda Pribble.
My name is Matt Cohen. I'm with Matt Cohen and Associates. We are. I thought I was too loud. My name is Matt Cohen. I'm with Matt Cohen and Associates and part of the advocacy group that brought the complaint to the State Board of Education seeking action against the Chicago Public Schools. Chicago Public Schools have been operating without accountability and to the detriment of children with disabilities for years. The number one thing that we're asking for is that a special master be appointed to supervise all policy making by the Chicago Public Schools in relation to special education for minimally the next 5 years. We're also asking that the Chicago Public Schools create a $10 million fund to provide services for children with disabilities who are denied services by the Chicago Public Schools based on illegal policies and procedures since the last 4 years. We are asking that the Chicago Public Schools finally comply with the requirements of state and federal law by changing the IEP process to empower the parents and teachers to make the decisions that they're supposed to make, rather than administrators making those decisions outside of the IEP process. We're asking that any procedural change that is made by the Chicago Public Schools has to be reviewed by the special master, has to be reviewed by the teachers' unions, by the principals, and by the parents to get input. We're asking that the Chicago Public Schools provide funding to actually train parents and teachers on the policies. For years, the Chicago Public Schools have been providing policies in the dark without notice to their staff in a way that leaves parents unaware of the very policies that are denying their children services. We're asking that the Chicago Public Schools revise their rules regarding data gathering, which were not used to make good decisions, but rather to delay and deny services for children. And we're asking for the Chicago Public Schools to change their computer system, which instead of promoting efficiency and good decision making, acted as a block to kids getting what they needed and created outrageous burdens on the staff in preventing them from making child-centered services. Ultimately, what we are asking for is that the Chicago Public Schools follow the law, include parents, include teachers, and make decisions centered on what children need, not based on saving money.
And getting all the parents in this coalition.
Yes. My name is Mary Fahey Hughes. Yes. Closer. All right. My name is Mary Fahey Hughes. That's FAHEYHUGHES. I'm a board member with Raise Your Hand and a volunteer special education advocate. We are a parent-run, grassroots public education advocacy group, and our phone lines and social media pages have been blowing up daily with stories from parents who are desperate to get appropriate special ed services for their kids. And regardless of what small changes CPS may have instituted since they rolled out this truly diabolical procedural manual in July 2016, clearly CPS is not taking responsibility for the damage that has already been done to these children and the loss of supports and the closing of developmental windows. Our children have been victims of the systemic delays and denials by CPS, and we need an outside special master for 5 years so that they cannot continue these practices and are held accountable to families, teachers, clinicians, and most importantly, the students. Clearly, the Chicago Public Schools cannot police themselves with respect to special education, and ISBE must hold them accountable. Yeah. Now I'd like to introduce Katie Osgood, a special
in a high poverty African American community on the south side of the city. And we have seen devastating impact because of the policies that CPS has put in place around special education, including these blocks in our electronic systems, including bureaucratic hurdles, including putting onerous and debilitating paperwork on our staff to the point where we cannot put services in place. We have to understand these things are on purpose. CPS did this on purpose, and they did it so that they could save money on the backs of our most vulnerable kids. So we are here today with this group of people. We've been speaking out about this for the past 2 years at least, about this impact on our kids. I know in my school we saw that impact firsthand. This year I had students coming in into kindergarten. Their services were not allowed to be put in place. They were blocked from being put in place. And we had kids just out of control behaviorally. We had kids running out of classrooms, jumping off of furniture. We had children just engaging in all kinds of unsafe behaviors because the teams that put together their educational plans were not allowed to put the correct services in place. I'm also the co-chair of the Special Education Committee at the Chicago Teachers Union, and we've been hearing stories like this from across the district, from hundreds of our members, the same story again and again. These problems, they still exist today. CPS has not yet fixed this problem. So we are here today to ask ISBE to step in and force CPS to end these illegal actions against our students with disabilities. CPS needs to be monitored. They've proven that they cannot do this on their own, or they will not do this on their own. And we are asking and demanding that they get rid of all these hurdles put in place, get rid of all the blocks that are delaying and denying our services to our most vulnerable kids. And we know that these atrocities, they happened under the disgraced former CPS CEO Forrest Claypool. Janice Jackson has said that she wants to do things differently, and we are waiting for her to act on that. We need them to change the policies, and we need an outside monitor to come in and make sure that they are doing right by our kids. Thank you.
Now I'd like to introduce another special education teacher, Joan Maldonado.
Joanna, Joanna, Maldonado, Maldonado. I'm a special education teacher on the northwest side of Chicago in Logan Square, where our community is predominantly Latino. 33% of our students receive special education services, at least they're supposed to. And time again, this is my first year in a resource setting, I'm finding all of the things that our students are missing. They are going without the proper native language resources, the amount of teachers that we need to be doing my position. I am teaching 3 grades and 3 subjects at the same time, all in the name that we don't have enough money or there's not enough of those students, yet every day we're asked to cut back. We're asked to move children this way or sway the parents to go that way, all in an effort to save money. We have buses that are transporting our students and those services are being cut, yet the parents don't understand because those buses are empty. And we are moving children out of our neighborhoods and making those resources and those relationships with those special education teachers harder and harder to establish. We know that CPS does not have the best interests of our students or our parents at heart, and we need to demand that these services, that teachers, parents, clinicians, counselors, social workers come together, and yet the services are not provided. It looks like they are provided, yet there is no accountability. There is no one coming in on our side. There's no one coming in helping the parents, ensuring that their children are receiving those services. When they send people out to IEP meetings, they're there for compliance and they're there to take away, not to add. And for this, we must demand that ISBE take forth the set of actions that have been proposed by this coalition of parents, teachers, lawyers, and everyone across the city that is experiencing the same troubles regardless of where they are in the city. It is happening across, and we need ISBE to really demand that CPS be following the law with all of the accountability measures that have been mentioned, and we hope that that is what happens here today.
Are there any questions?
expert in special education or a lawyer with special education expertise, and someone who has extensive knowledge of how special education systems are supposed to work and the law and the legal requirements that CPS has been breaking.
And the $10 million for compensatory services, how would that work that a child could access that?
I think we would hope that people could access it through the special monitor with a complaint system or a special process for receiving compensatory services.
Our request included a procedure where parents who feel that their children have been deprived of services make a request, it will be reviewed by the IEP team, and if denied, it can go to the special master. To be clear, although $10 million seems like a lot of money, it's actually a drop in the bucket relative to the services that kids were not given that they should have been given, and a drop in the bucket relative to the cost savings that CPS imposed instead of giving services.
One other question, do you feel like this year there's been some change, and how do you guys see the future? They just restored, I think, $30 million.
I think we've seen some change, but not enough change, and not in a way that is meaningful to make sure that there's compliance with the law.
We get reports, and I'm sure everyone here can echo this, reports every day of these problems continuing that CPS claims have been fixed. The CPS policy manual they said was being fixed, they did that in secret again just 2 months ago. So they have not learned about transparency, they have not learned about participation, they have not learned about fixing the system in terms of the way that decisions are made, and they are not funding the services. The money that was just approved was not earmarked for special education. We welcome it, but it's not making up for the cuts that.
Thank you.
Bad learners.